All right, so make your first pose of Shavasana as restorative as possible. So give yourself some support, maybe under the low back, the knees, the head, neck. Just make it nice and as comfy as possible. So it's not your Shavasana when you're in a normal class. You're going to give yourself a lot more support here than normal. Just so you can kind of start to detox from your day, start to unwind, start to allow yourself to dive into some relaxation. So allowing yourself to set yourself up there. And then once you're there, take a nice full inhale. And then sigh out. Allowing yourself to come into your space, onto your mat, and into your body. Start to scan over here, checking in physically. Notice where you are today. Acknowledge any areas of tenderness, any tension. Be mindful of those areas today as you start to settle into relaxation. So we're starting off a little bit differently today. We're going to fully drop into some relaxation. Maybe continue to take those deep inhales and exhales to allow yourself to drop a little bit more. And then we'll start to make our way forward and get into some of those yin poses. And then we're going to end with a little bit of alternate nostril breath to help transition us off our mat from this relaxing state into our evening ahead that might be a little bit more active. Or at least we'll be a little bit more aware, bringing this practice all together, assimilating it in our body, and allowing us to move into our weekend. Just take a full inhale here. And let it go. Allowing yourself to check in mentally and emotionally here just for a moment. Scan over anything that's still bubbling up. Acknowledge it. Give it some loving kindness. And then see if you can let it go. Continue to take those deep inhales and exhales just for a few more rounds of breath here. Just allowing yourself to let go of each of those thoughts, each of those emotions attached to those thoughts. Dropping more and more into the present. Dropping more and more into the body and into the breath. Taking a full inhale here. And as you sigh it out, let go of any tension in the body, any tension in the jaw and tongue specifically. Let your breathing come back to normal. Try not to do anything with your breath. Just allow yourself to lie here for another few moments in silence. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to bend your knees. If there's any props underneath your back or your head, slowly start to take those out. And just pause there for a moment. And our next pose is going to be Reclined Baddah Konasana. So Supta Baddah Konasana, you have two options. If you're fine here on the ground right now and you want to maybe just prop your legs, your knees can drop out wide, your feet can press together, then you're gonna slide blocks or pillows or something underneath your thighs so that your thighs are supported. Remember, you don't want any sensation here. And as you allow that to be supported, you might find you need some more support for your upper body. So you're gonna grab your props and support yourself there. So roll yourself over to one side. So if you're happy on your back, you can stay there. But if you want to use the props, allow yourself to come up slowly. And I'm just gonna take my props and take them in a little bit of a reclined position here. Having something so my head can be supported. Giving myself something underneath. Sorry. Hi, cat. Hi, pretty girl. Oh, my cats. And then I'll have my blocks for my legs. And I might even want to take this roll and bring that underneath my legs as well for a little support, maybe some support under my ankles today. Then cozying up next to the bolster, laying back onto that bolster. And then supporting the neck, supporting the head. Just allowing yourself to feel that support. And maybe your hands rest on your belly if that's supportive. Maybe they go out by your side if that's supportive. Just kind of check in and see how you're feeling here. So again, it'll take a little bit to get into that position, no worries. We're gonna be here for a while. Allow yourself to set yourself up so you're gonna find your most easeful position here. Maybe even covering your eyes. But kind of thinking of it as a way of like taking each of those little nooks and crannies that feel like there's space between you and the floor. Thinking of filling those up, tucking things into those little nooks and crannies so you feel supported. And once you get into that position, allow yourself to take a nice full inhale. And then sigh it out, letting it go. Allowing yourself to become completely supported. Today, aren't you? Stay. And once you have that position where you're feeling fully supported, just kind of scan over the body. Notice where you might be holding any tension. For me, it's usually in the neck and shoulders. I can usually find a little bit more areas there that I can let go of any tension. Maybe it's even your toes. Just allow your breathing to be normal. Allow yourself to just surrender into this support. Just kind of notice where the mind goes. No need to bring it back. Just kind of notice where it goes. Just allowing yourself to drop more physically into a little bit of restoration. Feeling that support of all your props. Allowing your breath to be natural. Allowing a nice full inhale to come in. Side out. slowly start to draw the knees up to center. Pausing there. And then slowly draw that chin into your chest. Bring those hands around the thighs. Slowly start to draw yourself up. If you're reclined on something, if you're on the floor, roll yourself to one side. And slowly make your way up to seated. Just pause either in a little tuck position or crossing the legs and sitting up tall. Just notice the effects from that pose. And slowly allow those eyes to blink open. So this next option, you can use the wall. If you don't have wall space, your legs can go on your couch or on a chair. You can even keep this same setup that we have now. Maybe even add a little bit more support underneath your chest, but you can just kind of swing yourself around a little bit. And your legs can still be up higher. So your legs can go up this little place. Otherwise, you're gonna have your legs up the wall. When your legs are up the wall, you want to have some padding under your hips, and it wants to go right into that sacral area, so that then your pelvis can kind of tilt a little bit forward. So instead of it having it rounding back, we're going to tilt it forward a little bit once we're on that prop. So I'm just going to take my blanket. I don't really have a bolster, but I'm going to place my blanket under my hips. I'm going to make a little bit, instead of a roll, I'm going to make it kind of a flat part like so. So that I can just kind of roll my hips over the top. And then again, you can make this as supportive as you need to. Maybe you have some pillows underneath your back, so you're feeling a little bit more support if you're not on carpet. And then to get up, that's the hardest part, is to get up the wall. You're gonna get yourself nice and close. Take one of your hips, literally put it against the wall, and then roll yourself down so your legs go up. And then once you're there, you want to find that little tilt so your tailbone tilts down and your pubic bone tilts down and your hip bones tilt up. You kind of want to move that bolster until that kind of happens, and then your sit bones are kind of lengthening toward the wall there. Just take a few moments to settle in. Legs are up the wall. If you're feeling really at a point in your practice today where you might drift off a little bit, you can always take a strap around your shins to keep them from falling apart. If you feel that might happen. And then again, find that support for your arms. So arms can go wide above your head. They can rest on your belly. Just using that support of the wall and the props underneath you to allow yourself to drop in here. Maybe start off with a couple rounds of deep breaths. And then let your breathing slowly come back to normal. Taking these first few moments in the pose. So start to scan over the body, notice where you're holding any tension. Slowly start to release it. If this ever becomes a little too much sensation in the legs, having them up the wall, you can always slide the soles of your feet together into that Baddah Konasana again, that butterfly pose. Or you can come out of any pose at any time. About 2.5 more minutes here. Continue to let go and release. Allowing that next breath to come in nice and full. And side out. Allowing yourself to start bending into those knees, drawing those knees into the chest. And slowly start to press into the wall, inching yourself away from the wall a little bit. And then allow yourself to roll over to one side, pause there. And slowly roll into that top arm, allowing your head to come up last. Come up to seated. Bring yourself back to your mat. Have any props you might need to. We're going to slowly start to transition into that in practice. So keeping your props handy. Our first pose though, we are going to recline again. So just coming away from that wall, we're going to recline into Bananasana. So a little bit of a side bend. You might want to have your blanket to lay on top of you just to give you a little bit of extra weight once you are there. So go ahead and lay down onto your back. Then once you're there, take those legs and draw them over to the left. So we're gonna open up that right side first. And then if it feels okay, maybe that left ankle crosses over the right ankle. Just kind of secure that in place. Just kind of notice that sensation you started to create on that right side. So if you'd like a little more weight in your hips, maybe place a blanket or a bolster right over that hip. And then start to take the arms up overhead. Maybe interlink opposite hands and elbows, maybe wrists. And then start to move the upper body over to the left as well. So you're creating some length, some extension in that right side, opening up the meridians on that side. And then finding some compression on the left side. Trying to stop that energy flow or kind of compress the hose to kind of keep that energy in one spot. And then when we let go of this pose, have that be released. You can even take it into the neck if you'd like by drawing that left ear to the left shoulder. Once you're there, take a couple deep breaths, just kind of noticing the sensations that deeper breath creates. And then you can stay with that nice full breath, or you can let your breath return back to normal. But now that you're here, starting to draw that attention more into the sensations that you're creating in the body. If the mind wanders away, give that thought some loving kindness, but then bring it back to those sensations. So you're allowing yourself to find your edge, not going past that point of discomfort, being able to sit in the discomfort, and allowing yourself to settle into that sensation. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to bring that upper body back to center. Allow those arms to come down by the side. And then uncrossing the legs if you've crossed them. And slowly bring those legs back to center. Just pause there for a moment, let everything relax. Find a little mini Savasana. Notice the sensations in that right side. But then turn your attention to that left side. Can you start to feel some energy flow in that left side now that you've let go of that compression? Then we'll switch to the other side. Starting to take your legs, move them over toward the right. Just kind of notice that sensation that occurs. Try and keep the pelvis on the ground, especially that sacrum, that lower back, not your lower back, that little bony bit. The lower back has a little bit of an arch in it. And then maybe that right leg crosses over the left, so that right ankle over the left ankle, just kind of holding that ankle in place. Noticing those sensations on the left side. And then taking those arms up overhead. Start to lean yourself over toward the right, so you're compressing that right side now. That right side compresses, that left side's opening up now. Maybe even taking that right ear toward the right shoulder. Just allowing yourself to take a few deep breaths here, acknowledging the effects of the breath on the pose. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly bring that upper body back to center. Allowing the arms to come down by the side. And slowly bringing those legs back to center. Just allow the legs to relax, allow the arms to relax, find a little mini Savasana for a few moments. Acknowledging that right side, that more openness, that expandedness. And noticing that right side. Notice if you start to feel any energy move after all that compression on the right side. And slowly start to bend your knees. Maybe even hug those knees into the chest for a moment. Letting go of that pose. Acknowledging how you feel here. Then from here, coming into a little bit deeper of a twist. So that was kind of a lateral bend, now coming into a twist. So from here, roll yourself all the way over onto your right side. If you feel like you need some support between the knees or under the knees, you can do that. Maybe you need some support behind your left shoulder back behind you, so maybe have a pillow back there. But then from here, you're going to keep your hips stacked and start to open that left arm out to the side. So that left arm might need some support. It might need a pillow or a blanket or a block underneath it. But allowing it to have some support to find a twist. And if you need more intensity, just drawing those knees closer to your chest. If you need less intensity, drawing the knees away from your chest. If you feel like you need more leverage, maybe you place a blanket on top of that top thigh. Just finding that edge, finding that place where you can sit with this rotation in the spine as you breathe deep. Just notice the effects of that deep breath on the body. If it becomes too much for your left arm to be extended, maybe you're trying to feel some pins and needles in the hand, you can always take that left hand and bring it to your ribs on the top side, those left ribs. That just kind of alleviates any compression that might be happening in the shoulder. Again, after time, if you notice that your edge has dissipated, and you might be able to take that edge to a new level, you can slide that bottom leg out and then slide that top leg over the bottom leg, coming into that twisted root. So you have a little bit more of anchoring, a little bit more grounding on that top leg, which is going to cause you to come more into spinal rotation. Be mindful that you're not going past your edge today into that low back. We are targeting the back, the spine, even a little bit of that top hip. You might even be feeling sensations in the shoulders. We have about 1 more minute here. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. If you've crossed your legs, uncross them. And then taking that left hand, bring it all the way over to the right. Allow yourself to use that right arm as a pillow. Curl yourself into a ball and pause. Notice the effects, those sensations happening in that left side. And then as you're ready, roll yourself back onto your back. Pause there. If there's any props you need to move from one side to the other, allow yourself to do that. And then from here, you're going to roll yourself all the way over onto that left side. Pause there for a moment. And then decide if you need any props. And then taking that right arm, start to open it up wide. Again, notice if you need any props underneath the shoulders, underneath the arms. Just twisting as far as those hips will allow you, keeping those hips stacked. And if you need more intensity, knees toward the chest. If you need less intensity, draw them away. Take a few rounds of deep breath. Just allowing yourself to settle into this pose here. Reminding yourself to stay with those sensations that are happening in the body. Being curious about how the pose affects the spine here, shoulder, the hip. If you need to increase that intensity of about another 1 minute here, if you'd like to go into that little deeper edge by crossing that top leg over the bottom leg. So again, just be mindful that it hasn't gone too deep to where that causes you to tense other parts of your body. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly start to take that right arm all the way back over to the left. Using that left arm as a pillow, curl yourself into a ball. Pause there. And then slowly transitioning onto your back again. Pausing there with your knees bent, feet on the floor. Just kind of scan over the body here, check in. Maybe take a moment and windshield wiper those legs from side to side. And then we're going to transition all the way up to seated. So slowly rolling yourself to one side, allowing that head to come up last. From here, we're going to come into that wide-legged pose of Dragonfly. So if you'd like, you can use the wall. You can push your feet against the wall and rest your head on the wall. Or you have all those nice props to have out in front of you. You're going to take your legs wide. Finding that position that's going to help you get into your hips. You want to target your hips. Not necessarily Getting into those hamstrings. You might feel some sensation in the connective tissue of your knees. That's totally fine. But try to stay out of the hamstrings, but the fascia is connected there too, so that might happen there. I just like to bend my knees a little bit to find some support. And then start to lengthen forward, let those legs relax, just let the toes relax. Start to bring yourself forward. So again, you're gonna find a little bit of sensation in the hips, maybe the low back and spine. You can go all the way through the spine and let that head dangle at the end of your neck. Really pulling on all of that fascia that connects each of those vertebrae in your spine. Or you can allow your forehead to be supported. So if you rest your forehead on one of the blocks or a pillow or something, you're definitely stimulating the meridians that run through the top of the head. Just that one time to remind yourself, if you're feeling it, you're doing it. Maybe take a few rounds of deep breath here. Noticing the effects of that deep breath. And kind of notice where you might be holding any muscle tension, maybe in those hips, the inner thighs, the hamstrings. Try to relax those on your next exhale. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Mindfully start to bring yourself up, slowly rolling that spine up. And allowing your arms or your hands to help you. So you slide those legs in. Just come into that little tuck position. Pausing there for a moment. And slowly bring yourself up. Maybe take those legs out in front of you and point and flex through the toes. And then from here, we're going to come into shoelace pose. So targeting those outer hips. And we'll do a little bit with our upper body to get into our neck and shoulders a little bit. So if you need to sit on something, sitting on something, we're gonna start with our right leg on top. So the right leg is gonna stack on top of that bottom knee. If it's okay for you to bend the bottom knee as well, bottom knee is gonna come back by that right hip. Just take a couple moments. I like to press into my hands and let those hips adjust. Just kind of notice how that feels. See if you can sit there for a few moments. Just pause, just kind of settling in here, adjusting as you need. Maybe you need props under your knees. Maybe you need props under your ankles. My cats are being fun today. Just settle in here. And then adding in just a little bit of the upper body. You're gonna take that left hand, bring it behind you, bring the back of your hand to your low back, just kind of feeling a little bit of a stretch in that left shoulder. Then maybe start to drop that right ear toward the right shoulder. Oh, I'm so sorry. And maybe that right arm extends out and you press the fingertips into the floor. Just kind of lengthening that arm out a little bit, giving you a little support. And slowly start to draw that head back up to center, just pausing there with that arm behind your back for a moment. And slowly bring that arm out, pausing there. And then taking that left arm on top of the right. Just kind of see how that feels. Maybe you give yourself a hug and you pull those elbows away and up. If it's comfortable, maybe you find that eagle pose. And again, drawing the elbows up and forward a little bit. And if it starts to feel okay, you have a little bit more range of motion, a little bit more edge, maybe those elbows start to come down toward either your thighs or maybe you place them on a block or a bolster. And you just kind of let yourself kind of sink into those arms. Let your head fall down toward the arms. Start to feel that sensation between the shoulder blades. Maybe that added weight forward, you're feeling a little bit more in the hips. Exhale fully here. Slowly start to release the grip of that bind. Let your arms just kind of drop down. Your elbows are still crossed. And then slowly slide those arms away from one another. Keep rounding into the spine. Keep rounding forward. Maybe you can take those hands forward. Let your head relax down. You can use any support you need of your arms to find your edge. And a full inhale here. And let it go. Slowly rounding that spine up. And then slowly unwinding those legs. Grunting and groaning is allowed. Just pause there for a moment. Notice those sensations. And then as you're ready, switching sides, that left leg's gonna be on top. Right leg, if it's okay, will bend and go underneath. And then press into those hands, just kind of find your edge, what feels good in your body today. Somewhere you can sit with that discomfort. And then just pause. Notice the sensations in the hips, the spine, low back. Just taking a few moments to settle into the pose. Finding your edge, using any props you need to under the knees or the hips. And then starting to take that right hand, bring it back behind you. And then start to draw that left ear towards your left shoulder. And maybe start to walk those left fingertips out to the side. Just kind of reaching through the arm for a moment. Again, notice where you might be holding any tension. See if you can let that go. You can kind of like release the tension in the fingers of the hand that's behind you. Slowly start to bring that head back up to center. Pause there for a moment with that hand still behind you. And then slowly start to release that arm out. Pause there for a moment. And then this time taking that right arm over the left. Kind of see how that feels. Maybe you just give yourself a hug. Or maybe those arms find eagle arms. Lift the elbows, send them away from you. And then slowly start to lengthen forward toward that front knee. Maybe it's on a bolster on this side, maybe it's on a block. Whatever's gonna best suit you on this side. Start to let that head kind of press into the arms. Let yourself just kind of round forward. And breathe into this pose. And as you exhale here, Allow those arms to just drop down, keeping the crossing of the arms, just pause for a moment. And then slowly start to slide those arms apart, uncrossing them, and allowing yourself to round forward any little bit. Relaxing the head, just dropping in for a few deep breaths, finding a new edge. I'm taking a full inhale here. Let it go. And then slowly bring that spine up. Allowing the head to be the last thing that rises. Pause for a moment once you're there. And then slowly unwinding those legs. Taking your time, no rush. Extending those legs out and just pause. Notice those sensations in the legs, the hips, the spine. And then taking any movements that are going to feel good to you, maybe lean back into those hands. Lean back into it, maybe even lift the hips, just opening up the front side of the body a little bit. Maybe windshield wipering the legs. Just kind of notice what's going to feel best to you here. And then allow yourself to be supported for coming into a seated pose. So you're just going to come into an easy seat. Have anything you need to under your hips so that you can relax those legs and feel supported. And then once you're there, sit up nice and tall, allow the eyes to close. Just kind of take some inventory over the body. I'm going to have us end in this seated position. I'm going to have us do some alternate nostril breathing. If you're more comfortable taking a supine position, laying on your back to do that breathing, please do. Whatever is going to feel best to you. So taking your first two fingers of your right hand and bend them down so that you have your thumb, your ring finger, and your pinky finger extended. And then from here, you're going to exhale fully. You're going to close the right nostril with your thumb and inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril. Release the thumb and exhale out the right. Inhale through the right. Close the nose, release the left and exhale. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. And you might notice one nostril is a little bit more open than the other. That's part of the practice. That's why we're doing this, to balance it. Inhale right if you haven't already. Close. Exhale left. So don't force the out breath or the in breath if you have a closed nostril. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Last round here. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Release your hands. Inhale both. Exhale both. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale through the nose. Side out the mouth. Allow your breathing to come back to normal. Noticing the sensations in the body. Stay here for just a few moments in silence, acknowledging the practice, the shifts in the practice, and how the body and mind feel. Taking a full inhale here. And let it go. Allow your hands to come and rest in front of your heart center, either cupping your heart or palms pressing. Bow your head slightly, acknowledging many shifts from the practice. Allowing any energy shifts in this practice to allow you to transition easily and smoothly from your mat tonight into your evening ahead. Taking any extra time that you need to restore before making that transition. We'll seal the practice in with a sigh of the breath or an om, your choice. Exhale fully. Inhale. Ooh. Taking a moment, think of one thing in your life that you truly are grateful for. And holding on to that image in your mind's eye as you raise your head with a smile. Thank you for joining me for this happy hour. Drink lots of water, eat your veggies, wear sunblock. We'll see you next time. Namaste.